We have the basic structure so that our application can handle routing, but we're only using a single partial. So all it does now is show a list of the artists. It would be great to make the list elements click through to a more detailed view of the artist information. We can do that by wiring up a second partial. So what we're going to do is on the app.js document is put in parameters for a second partial. When somebody goes to the page and types in details, and then we also ask for an item ID because we want to know which item we have clicked on, then I want you to do the following. So this is going to be pretty much like the list view, but just emphasizing a details view. And what I want to do is specify the template. So template URL just like before, and this one's going to be in the partials folder, and it's going to be called details.html. The next thing we need to specify is the controller that's going to control this template. So we'll do that next. Controller is going to be something called details controller. So now we need to make both of these. So let me go ahead and save this file, and I'm going to go to the controllers.js document and set up the controller. I've got a list controller going on right here. So now I need to set up a different one. So I'm going to copy and paste this one. This one's going to be called the details controller. It might help to have these showing side by side. So I'm going to put the app.js file over here on the right and work on the controllers.js on the left. So as you can see, my new artist controller is going to be added to the artist controllers right here, just like this other one. And we're going to create a new one called details controller. And that's what I'm specifying in the app.js file. Let's go ahead and view this with word wrapping so we can see everything. It's a little more confusing, but you can see all the text at least. So let me go ahead and make that a little smaller so we can focus on this new controller. And it's going to pretty much get the same thing as before. So it's going to get the scope, and it's going to use the HTTP service. But in addition to that, I also want to ask for the route parameters. So I'm going to type in here route params. So it's going to get some information from the link that people click on in order to go to this second view. In the same way, over here when I call the function, I want to get the scope, HTTP, and also the route parameters. Now, I'm still going to get the JSON file like before, and I'm going to put all that data in scope.artists. But I also need to find out which item we have clicked on. So right here, instead of specifying this artist order, I'm going to create a variable called which item, and it's going to receive from the route parameters. The route parameters has essentially the URL and any parameters that we've passed to it. And then I'm going to get something called item ID. Right, so let me save this and show you that when somebody clicks on an element in the list view, right, they're going to send a partial that asks for the details page, right, and also an item ID. This is one of the things that we're going to pass, and we're going to need to set this up. So when my controller receives that data, it's going to receive this route parameters items ID, right? So we need to now set the list view so that we set up the link. So right now we have an unordered list and a list item right here. And then we have just an image and a div with the rest of the information. What I need to do is also set up a link right here. So this will be an anchor tag, just a regular anchor tag. And this one is going to go to the pound, which is the route, and then the details. So this is going to match what's in the app.js file. Right, we're sending it to details and then specifying the item ID. So over here, we need to say details / and then we need to pass a parameter that identifies this element. So all that information about the elements is on this artists array. So what we need to do here is say, hey, go to the artist array and then get me the index of the item that I'm talking about. So I'm asking for the item. Remember, it's looping through each one of these elements, and it's going to be placing each element in this item field. And I'm asking for the index of that particular item. So I want to know if it's the first element in my data.json file, the second one, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what the index means. This is an array, so these are all going to have index numbers. This one's going to be 0, 1, et cetera, et cetera. So when I'm setting up this list link right here, I'm passing along in the href attribute information about the route that I want to take and then also which item I want from this user. So I'm going to take this closing tag and then put it over here at the end. So this is going to just become a big link. All right, let me go ahead and save this. And I'm going to switch over to my application and just refresh. So the difference here now is that when I roll over these elements on the bottom left-hand side, which is the status, you can see that we're now targeting the index.html page plus a pound sign, then the details partial, and then one of these items. These are going to be changing depending on the details. And that's going to be affected by how these are organized. We now have all the basic wiring for our second partial. All we have to do now is build the template itself. We'll go ahead and get to that on the next video.